My name is Jordan French. I'm on the editorial staff at TheStreet.com, also the executive editor at Grit Daily News. Among all the corners of the technology sector, one might think financial technology, or FinTech as it's called, would have the least difficulty opening a bank account. But that's not the case, at least according to Daniel Spier, CEO of Initium. Daniel has some exciting news for us today. Daniel,
Hi, John.
thanks for spending some time with media today.
Okay.
Let's get this out the gate. You have some really exciting news, especially for the fintech sector, which has been hurting. What's new? What do you bring to the table with Initium? You're focusing on this sector. Why?
We want to be a player in the market which really understands what's going on. We have a luxury that we can use. We can start off from fresh. We've got no legacy system. We can take solutions that are out there and really choose the best solutions to be able to service this market. We really understand the sector and can build specific tools that will service and solve what these companies need. And we're building it into our DNA. So as a new organization, it makes it much easier to service these companies. As soon as you approach, or as soon as someone approaches a bank with something that is not normal, the easiest approach is to say no, as opposed to really digging down into detail, understanding what these businesses are doing. And I had the same experience, but hopefully we'll be able to solve that for people going forwards.
We're all still puzzled. Can you explain why there would be such reticence? Why traditional banks are generally avoiding servicing fintech companies?
I think there's a couple of reasons behind it. I think there's probably, I'll say, three key reasons behind it. Number one, they don't understand the risks involved. They just don't understand it. They don't understand the business. And if you don't understand something, as a bank, as a compliance department, it's easier to say, no, thank you. I think number two, it also comes down to technology, where these organizations, they've got legacy systems. They've been around for generations, old systems. Legislation is so tough to keep up with technology to support current endeavors. To think about a new industry is just a major undertaking. And the third reason, I think some of these banks are competitors to the clients that want to bank with them. And I understand it. Why should they assist a direct competitor? So the reason is probably these three reasons combined and many more.
Certainly, it sounds like you're among the first to enter this market. Now, that you're opening a bank requires money, I would presume. So tell us how that all works. Not many people can just open a bank. Explain what that process looks like and how much you'll be raising.
So it's a big step. We're actually looking to raise a total of 275 million Swiss francs. We're doing this in three stages. The first stage will be 50 million. We're doing a combination of private placements, institutional investors, and in June we want to run an STO, a security token offering, where we'll be raising the balance. I'm very happy that we've raised the first round, which is the seed capital, to get us going. And that will help us fund the STO and all the fundraising efforts that we're undertaking at the moment.
Why an STO?
The beauty by doing an STO, by marketing an STO and telling people about this STO, a lot of the people that follow these news will become our clients. So number one, we're trying to get potential investors, but at the same time, we're attracting clients. So it just worked hand in hand. And by taking a more modern approach, I also feel the mix of funding works very nicely with the client mix that we're getting. So hopefully people who will be investing us through the STO will not just be investing in us, but also in the economy overall that will grow and support companies operating in this economy.
So it sounds like a lot of your investors are likely to become your clients as well.
I'm hopeful about that. I mean, I've got, through my background, I've got a lot of contacts. I know a lot of firms that are struggling, but I do expect that some of the investors will become clients in due course, and themselves clients who know other companies that struggle. So on the client side, I am less worried because I know people are crying out for solutions.
So with all the potential clients out there, and let's unpack that a bit more in a bit, for those who want to know, when will this actually launch? When will you be open for business so that all these fintech companies that aren't being banked can find a reliable banking partner?
It's obviously we've got a long way to go. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but our aim is in Q1 2020 to launch with our first license, which we're hoping will be in Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is just up the road here from Switzerland, from where we are in Zurich. And Liechtenstein, being a member of the European Economic Area, gives us the whole reach across Europe or the European Economic Area. So that's the first country, and then we expect every 6 months another jurisdiction to go live. After Liechtenstein, we want Switzerland to go live, then the UK, then we've got Singapore and Israel also in our pipeline.
One of the industries within FinTech that you mentioned is gaming, a global industry. There's blockchain. Some of these we could unpack a bit more, but to get a grasp of the size of what traditional banks are overlooking, is that something that you could share with us, perhaps a number roughly of how big this market is that you're attempting to tackle?
Yeah, it's very hard to put a precise number because what does it include? But what we are considering, the new digital economy, I mean, the blockchain itself, which is part of that, companies are valued at over $100 billion. And that is now in the crypto winter where they were worth multiple of that. The overall sector, what we call the new digital economy, the revenues are in excess of 100 billion. So it's a massive, massive market that is growing at tremendous pace.
So let's look out a bit into the future. What's your broader vision here? Do you anticipate a bigger impact, much more than just building Initium? Do you anticipate any changes in the banking sector at large?
The banking sector is enormous, and for them, this is probably still tiny. Bearing in mind the size of the market, I do think that in a few years, the traditional banks will, let's say, wake up and realize that they are ignoring a massive sector. Yes, they can build it at that time. It will take them time to build, to reach a stage that in those few years we will have reached. I do think the traditional banks will have to change because what we're calling the new digital economy, at the pace, the way it's growing, it's just going to become the economy. And I think people will start reacting differently to this, but I think we'll have a head start by what we're starting today.
In general, if the FinTech sector, they want to participate, they want to contribute to this, they want to be your customer, one way to get there is to help fund you. So what are some of the things that they can do pre-launch to get involved to see Initium succeed?
So definitely, the funding is an area, and we've already done a questionnaire where we've got a lot of feedback from the players. And ultimately, I want this also to be a bank for the new digital economy. So I welcome feedback and etc. directions and areas that people need, because we're building this for the industry. So funding is a big one. Obviously, without the funding, the bank is not going to happen. That's definitely a very big one. But early sign-ons that they want to become customers, even though we're talking about 12 months away, and just giving us general feedbacks of the services that they need. So just to make sure to continue proving that we are on the right track to provide the services that these customers need.